Okay, so this particular story, all right. It's a dark winter's night, and I'm 15, and my brother, who's 13, is in the back seat of my dad's car. And he's driving me home from dance class. And I can still remember from my vantage point his like big, meaty hands with these big sausage fingers wrapped around the steering wheel. Because my dad's a big man. Like he is big in physicality, but he's also big in terms of personality. So I like to tell people, picture Robin Williams and his over the top like joviality, but also deep, deep sadness, and mix in some Tony Soprano and his outrageous, like uncontrollable rage and anger. And that's my dad. So as a kid, especially at 15, he is my godlike idol, and he's also the source of all my terror. So this night, I say something, and I don't know what it is, but I know that it bothers him. It pisses him off. And unlike before, when he shoots my brother and I daggers with his eyes and threatens to pull over the car, no, this time he actually just pulls over the car. And I remember feeling my stomach sink as I can feel like hear the gravel kind of grinding underneath the tires because we're on the shoulder, and I'm like, and by the time he gets out of the car, I'm already completely frozen in fear. And he lumbers around the car to my side, and he wrenches open the door, and he grabs me by my clothes, and he pulls me from the car. And I remember my head hits the top of the car frame, like door frame, really hard, but I don't feel it because at that point, my emotions and my physical, like sort of any sort of pain receptors are just really good at shutting down when I'm in danger. What I do notice is that it is cold. It is so cold. It's one of those Canadian winter nights where when you inhale, your nostril hairs stick together and the wind just penetrates your clothes as if it's not even there. And it makes your skin feel like that sting after a smack. And I turn around just in time to see my brother looking at me, like locking eyes with me in horror from the back seat of the window as my dad pulls away and like the darkness swallows up the car and they're gone. And the closest building to me is this diner like restaurant, and it's 10 minutes away. And I walk there as fast as I can, but by the time I get there, my hands and my legs are completely numb. I can't feel them. I open the door and I go in, and there's no one in this restaurant except the guy behind the counter. And I make a beeline for the bathroom and I lock the door. And this is the first time I feel safe. And I put my hand underneath the hot water, and it hurts, of course, but at least I'm starting to feel my hands again. And I pull down my pants, and my legs are blue. So the top of my thighs are blue, speckled with white. And when I touch them, I can't feel them at all. They're completely frozen. So I turn on the hand dryer and I position my thighs underneath the warm blast of air. And I watch as they turn fiery red. It hurts, but I am gaining feeling back in my legs. And as soon as I can feel my hands, I'm digging through my pockets in my jacket, every single pocket, trying to find money. Because I know if I have money, I can buy something, I can stay in this warm, safe place. But I have no money. And so I'm warming up as much as I can, and I'm preparing myself to go out of the bathroom and walk back outside. But as soon as I open the bathroom door, there's the guy behind the counter, and he's offering me this like big cup full of hot chocolate, and it's like steaming with warmth. And at this point, I'm trying not to cry, and I choke out, I have no money. And he says, it's okay. And he hands me the hot chocolate, and I cup it in my hand, and I sit down. And time goes by. And at some point, I look out the window, and I see my mom, and she's in her like white mama van, and she's hunched over the steering wheel, and she's looking like furiously out at the sidewalks for me. And she's looking, but she doesn't see me sitting there at the restaurant. And I'm so relieved that she doesn't see me, because as I look at her doing this, I'm starting to thaw on the inside, and I'm feeling things for the first time. And what I feel is rage and hate. And I hate her, and I hate him, and I hate both of them together. And I just hate them. And there's a fire and a warmth to hate and an energy to it. But it's not just hate. It's like something more endearing, something more enduring. I mean, something that got me through the next few years. So there's this voice that was in me that when it spoke, I didn't entirely believe it, but it would come up in these moments, and it would say, you don't deserve this. So I sat there, and I sat there as long as I could because I was going to sit there to hurt them, to punish them. And I made sure that my mom had given up and gone home. And I sat there every minute, just waiting, hurting them. And when I finally did get up, I walked the 5 kilometers home, and I walked with rage and purpose and this voice saying, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. And by the time I get to my front door, my hands and my legs are numb again, but inside I'm on fire. And I ring the doorbell, and my mom comes to the door, and she moves aside to let me in, and she says nothing. She says nothing. But inside, there's that voice that says, you don't deserve this. 4 years later, my boyfriend would say those very words back at me. The only difference was he believed them 100%. And I clung to that because his certainty was what got me out, got me away from them, and it got me to this point where I could move towards the part of me that knew that I didn't deserve it, because I didn't. And now, all these years later, not a single person in the world could convince me that I deserve it. Thank you.